there, it's Meonicorn. Today I'm bringing you a non-fiction November-themed library book haul. The other day I was listening to this audiobooks that I purchased on Audible, and I really want to quote something. However, I don't have the physical book with me and I don't have a pen with me when I'm listening to the audiobook. So I realized that when listening to the audiobook, it's really hard to take note, but I don't want to buy another physical copy of the book because I purchased the book on Audible already, I don't want to buy one book in two format. So I was frustrated for a little bit. And after my frustration, I suddenly realized that, I can just borrow the physical books from my library. So I went to the library once again, and because it's Nonfiction November, it's really inspired me to go through the nonfiction books that my library has. Normally, if I go to the library, I just browse through the fiction part. And that leads to the book haul that we have today because I borrowed a lot of nonfiction books from my library. The first book I borrowed is actually the book that I want to take notes for. It's Being Mortal by Otto Grande. I have finished listening to this audiobook and the book is wonderful. I'm planning to do a full review of this book in the future, and you can see from the subtitle it's talking about medicine and what matters in the end. And the second book I borrowed is actually the audiobooks that I'm listening to right now is You Don't Have to Say You Love Me by Sherman Alexie. Sherman Alexie is a very well-known poet, and this is his memoir about his relationship with his mother. It's my first time to read anything from Sherman Alexie, and I really like the memoir so far. And I remember he said he talks about his father a lot, and he never doubted that the love that his father gave her, but he really talked about his mother. So this is his first time talking about his mother and their relationship, and it has many touching stories, and I'm enjoying it now. The third book I come across is this one, Mental Health Inc. The subtitle was How Corporations Lacked Oversight and Felt Reforms Endanger Our Most Valuable Citizens by Art Levian. This is a book that I borrowed purely about its title because I'm really interested in the topic of mental health. And I have checked on Goodreads, there were not many people who have read this book, but they have some good reviews as well as some not so good reviews. And also it has audiobooks. So I just want to browse through the table of contents of this book, and if I'm still interested in that, I'll just buy an audiobook and listening to this while I had the physical copy on hand. And the next book I found was Sift by Finding Diaries, 1977 to 2002. It's by David Sedaris. I don't know how to pronounce that, but he is a very famous people, and I have not heard about him before, but I have saw this book in the recommendation section every time I open the Audible website. So I suppose it's a really great book, a really great memoir, but because I don't know him, so I was really hesitant when every time I saw the recommendations. However, for this time, I think I'll just borrow the book and maybe to read a few chapters at the beginning and to see if it's a book that I want to read. The next book I came across has a really interesting title. It's called God, the Devil, and Harry Potter, a Christian minister's defense of the beloved novels. I don't have a religion and I'm a Harry Potter fan, so it's really interesting when I saw this title displayed in my library. So the reason why I pick up this book is just because the curiosity, and I really want to see what are they talking about when they are talking about Harry Potter, and to see if there are any point of view that I have not noticed before. And the next book I borrowed is Monet by Christopher Hornerich, and this is Monet's picture book. Have some of his pictures and some of the stories when he was painting the picture and introductions of the pictures. And I just want to flip through the books and to see his paintings and the stories around his paintings. Hi, it's Editing Unicorn. I realized that I forgot to say I have also borrowed Where the Animals Go from my library. The subtitle was Tracking Wildlife with Technology in 50 Maps and Graphics. I really like the format of this book, combine the explanation with all the maps and with some pictures of the animals that it's tracking. And I think it will be a really great nonfiction read in Nonfiction November. And the last book I borrowed from the library is 6 Missions of Texas, and it's basically talking about the history of Texas and talking about the 6 different forms that Texas have experienced. I'm currently living in Texas now, and I have visited some of the historical places around Texas, but I have not read any history books about Texas. And what makes me pick the book up is because I'm leaving Texas in 1 month and moving to another state to live. And I think in my 4.5 years living in Texas, I just don't have the urge to learn about Texas history. I wish I already know this during the 4.5 years, but I didn't. So I'm starting to learn the history of Texas when I'm living here. This makes me very sad. And that's all the books that I borrowed from my library, and I found that the non-fiction section is as good and as interesting as the fiction section. So I think in the future I'll just go browsing two sides of the library and having an even better experience when I was there. So happy reading, and I'll see you next time. Bye!